we've all been following it. So we're going to give you a quick rundown of the team status, and then we're going to get into these game guys. So team info cards, real quick for this first match. Clairvoyant Gaming, still on that solid 5-man lineup. They got Descent, Hawkfu, Notorious, DIG, March, Suki. These are the guys coming in second in that really competitive Division 2, just below Symbiote. Taking a game off them at one point. This is going to be interesting to see them play against Snowflake. Now, Snowflake has one addition to their roster for 2 or 3 weeks now. So it's going to be Faye, Idra, Keelax, LZ Gamer, and Chillatek. Now, Zoya, what do you think between these two teams when they match up? What do you expect to see?
It's it's going to be hard for Clairvoyant. They've kind of been the underdog team for their division. They did compete well against SMG, and they do have really great matches. They're really fun to watch. I love watching them play, but Snowflake has been arguably top 2 team, sometimes top 3 team in Heroes. So it'll be tough for them. They're going to have to pull out some crazy strats if they want to take, but they can do it. They have the potential to do it.
I mean, yeah, Clairvoyant definitely one of the teams who's shown us that they're willing to go outside the meta, try out those crazy strats in order to get wins. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always fun to watch.
Yeah, they have really fun stuff, and they use Witch Doctor, so
All right,
so
well, bias alert.
Super bias.
Anyway, guys, let's get into this draft phase. No more fooling around. Here we go. Champion select draft phase, whatever you want to call it, boys. Team Snowflake got first ban, first pick for this first game of the best of 3. They lead off with that Uther ban. Clairvoyant responds with a Tastar ban. Pretty common bans at this point, both very high tier heroes. And then we see the draft starts out pretty regular looking. We see a Tychus, Tyrael, Barb, a little unusual to see that early. But, the Arthas, Falstad, Vala, Rhaegar, these are all really high priority picks. Stitches, there's a Brightwing dropped in there, and then a Witch Doctor. Zoya called it.
I didn't even see it. I didn't even look at the pick bands.
Zoya.
That's funny.
Zoya with the spoilers from the future calls the Witch Doctor from Clairvoyant.
So something about Snowflake's lineup, since week 1, it was week 1, they have consistently been running Falstad Brightwing. And they are really good with it. It just shocks me how often they get it. So it'll be tough for Clairvoyant. We'll see if they can pull it off. I like the bans though. I like how we're seeing a lot more bans be support focused, with a lot of supports getting nerfed. That puts a lot of more priority on the good ones like Uther, Tassadar. So it's cool seeing those banned a lot now.
Definitely. Now, the Snowflake team doesn't really have people who can kind of dive onto Witch Doctor to threaten him, but I am concerned about that hook, because if you get hooked as Witch Doctor, you're done for. So that's my biggest concern here for that Witch Doctor pick specifically. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty solid pick in this game.
Overall, there's a few things that can interrupt the Witch Doctor, but they're all fairly close range. You have, the Brightwing and Tychus would have to get close, and with the Stitches nerfs, they're not as ham because they don't have sprint anymore. But like I said, it's a fairly safe pick. I'm more curious about the Rhaegar pick. Do you think we're going to see Bloodlust, or is it going to be the heal?
Ooh, that's a tough call. I would expect to see Ancestral Healing, because a lot of teams aren't willing to commit to the Bloodlust when you have like a Witch Doctor who just gets almost no benefit from it.
Right.
So you'd just rather have the Ancestral to save someone, and maybe if someone gets hooked even, you can save them with the Ancestral. That big heal kind of messes the focus up. That could be potentially really useful against Stitches as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright, well, here we go, guys. Let's drop into that game. Zoya, are you with me?
Yep, 5 seconds and normal speed.
Well, I am 5 seconds in normal speed as well, but OBS having some difficulty capturing heroes. Give me just 1 second, guys.
The alpha may be ending for the game, guys.
There
but
we
the
go.
alpha of the stream will always be here.
That stream, still in alpha. Game still in alpha for now as well. They're switching back and forth on their process names. Oh my god, I can't handle it, Zoya. Cannot handle it.
Too much.
Anyway, guys, we are here in game. 5 seconds, normal speed, paused. We got Clairvoyant on this blue team. I'm going to give them a quick intro and start the replay in 3, 2, 1. Boom. We have March leading the charge on that Master Skin Demon Hunter. Hawkfu following behind Master Skin Barbarian. Suki on the Witch Doctor, Descent, Rockin' Material, and Notorious Deji on the Rhaegar.
And for Team Symbiote Gaming, we have Soldier on...
Snowflake.
Oh, Snowflake. I loaded the wrong replay.
Well, that is a downer.
Yeah.
All right.
Did I really I loaded the wrong replay?
I assure you, I'm not casting Clairvoyant against SMG at the moment, so...
That's what I'm casting, apparently.
Alright, we'll just cast 2 different games at the same time. We'll knock out the tournament twice as fast.
I was confused when you weren't saying people I saw, but I just kind of rolled with it.
Man.
That went well. Okay. I don't know why I had...
Guys.
Okay. Makes sense now. Makes sense now. Don't worry. This takes a few seconds to fix.
Fantastic. I was worried it was going to take more than a few seconds to fix, boys. Oh well, guys, here we are, the hosts. You know what? It's alpha. Stuff happens. You can't... It's just... Sometimes you gotta work around it. You just gotta work around the alpha. We're gonna be getting back into this game in just a minute, guys. Stick around. Now, one thing I want to note here, I mean, Zoya didn't get to see this, but Clairvoyant actually is rocking like a ton of master skins. So I feel like I have to give extra points to them for style and possibility to win, just because when you're rocking that 4 master skin advantage, I mean, it's just... If they had all 5, I mean, it would be for sure. I can't tell if Suki's got master skin Witch Doctor. I'm not that familiar with it. The big curling horns might be master skin Witch Doctor, so it might actually be a penta skin.
There is no master skin Witch Doctor.
Oh, well, he has a skin. It's not default Witch Doctor, I'll tell you that much. So he has a skin, so at least they're penta skinning, and everybody knows. I'm at 26 seconds.
Okay, I am gonna speed there.
Oh yeah, fast mode, turbo speed. Get it going, back in the game.
And I am paused at 26 seconds. I'm ready to redo the introduction.
Well, that is fantastic. I will give you an opportunity to do that. Let's get back into the game and start it off in 3, 2, 1, boom.
Alright, and for Team Snowflake, we have Faye on Stitches, LZ Gamer on Falstad, Chillatek on Arthas, Idra on Tychus, and Brightwing, played by Keith.
Boom, there we go. That lineup looking good. Heading to their lanes. 1-3-1 split. Pretty typical for them. Kind of just a regular split up. Now, they're going to look for a pick with Stitches, obviously, at level 1. The only question is where they're going to do that. They haven't committed yet. Just hanging around in mid lane. Clairvoyant not letting anyone walk outside of those gates yet. They know they don't want to step out there at all.
Now, what do you think the reasoning behind putting the Brightwing bottom and the Tychus top for Snowflake? Do you think that's just like, whatever, we'll go to lanes, or do you think there's any strategy behind having the Brightwing on bottom?
Oh, there's definitely some strategy here. So, Brightwing, since she has the map mobility, always wants to be in a side lane, and she gains an extra advantage from the fact that this is the lane where her ogres are on, her siege giants. So when she gets those bribe stacks, she's going to be able to walk over there, bribe them, and still be able to join a team fight on the other side of the map almost instantly with that phase shift. So that's really the reason why Brightwing is up there. Now we do see them coming in. They want to gank this top lane, but this is going to be a 3v3 engaging. Chillatek taking a lot of damage right here. They're going on him immediately. He is walking away. He's cutting them out. Tychus on the follow-up, getting a lot of damage on Hawkfu. Will that Barbarian go down to the Arthas, or is the Arthas all alone? His friends are not with him anymore. They may have overextended. Chillatek gets the Death Coil to heal, but it is not enough. Tyrael with that sword throw to get the killing blow. But is the fight
He's going
over?
for a chase on Suki, though. Will get the kill. LZ Gamer comes the bottom. Good wall catching Idra there. He is going to fall so far. He's a 2-for-2. March has to back off there. Faye, Brightwing actually does blink in from bottom lane. Rhaegar's still down there, so they are still getting that experience. If they don't get another kill, the minus experience will not be worth it. And March does end up falling, putting the kills at a 3-for-2 in favor of Snowflake. Quickly how that turned around after they lost the Arthas.
Wow. That was insane early game aggression, like we have not seen much of before. Now,
right?
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, the Arthas just walked in that brush, and Arthas to go down, but it caused CG to kind of get out of position. They chased the Arthas pretty far, ended up costing them, especially when their squishies got flanked on by the Falstad and the Brightwing TPing up. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, you don't normally actually see a lot of early aggression. Sometimes the early game kills aren't enough experience to, like someone soaking experience. You'll notice that a lot. That even a team that's up 2-3 kills in the early game, as long as the other team has had people in lanes, it's sometimes not worth it.
Yeah, that's why the Roman Gang squad has kind of taken a little bit of a fall off, and teams are playing more securely now. We see Clairvoyant immediately responding by going to their Siege Giants. I like this play a lot. The timing is literally perfect for them because those are going to walk out into the lane right as the tribute comes up. This could not have been better timed by Clairvoyant. Those mercenaries are going to put pressure on the top side. Tychus cannot leave until they are dead, or they will lose that front wall, and that means that Snowflake is going to have to try and commit only 4 members to deal with this tribute. They are going to get there in time to interrupt the first channel. Now, will Clairvoyant want to pull people to fight this, or is Witch Doctor going to commit to pushing top?
Tychus is actually coming down now. Brightwing's still in the bottom lane, so it should be a 5v4 soon, but we do have the fight going on. LZ Gamers at half health. Faye trying to back off here. Hawks doing the first hit going ham on him. They do have that healing ward down. Faye does get a bit of a heal. Descent going to end up falling. Can get a huge AoE blast off. They do spread out for it. Only hits Idra and Faye, and they do. Clairvoyant does have to back off with Hawksfruit and Dig both really low HP, and what was looking like should have been an easy win for Clairvoyant. Snowflake, they delayed long enough for their teammates to get there, and were able to secure the tribute.
I mean, that felt like a bit of a split decision there from Clairvoyant. They had the Witch Doctor come down from the top lane so much later than the Tychus that he couldn't even get to the fight in time, and that was just not the cleanest utilization of those really good Siege Giants like I would have liked to see. Unfortunate for Clairvoyant. Now, Snowflake in that top lane, putting the aggression on, utilizing the Falstad map mobility like we talk about to not miss any experience really in that top lane. So they have a level advantage right now, 7-6, 1 talent point up. Idra just scouted them doing this night camp with that Barbarian Material. Clairvoyant's getting a little scared here. They might get forced out.
They are really timid about it. Brightwing is coming in. Idra wants to go for it, and basically they're going to be securing a free night camp. Where is the bribe? Hawkfu is coming in. They do get the charge onto it. Helak is going to stay on top of it. Hawkfu immediately getting taken out there. Descent might fall as well. He does end up falling, and all of Snowflake just shows up at the perfect time.
Yeah, I mean, again, the hesitation on whether or not to call off the Knights really cost them there. They ended up losing 2 people and the Knights. Once you get scouted there against the double global team, you're going to lose the camp. There's just no way you can pull your people from top and bottom lane into that camp in time and collapse on them. There's just no way. So, like, you want to force them to use their globals to get there, but dying and giving up the camp, it's just not worth it. And it puts Clairvoyant in a really rough spot now.
Yeah, and the second night camp going to be taken by Snowflake. Clairvoyant is collapsing onto the tribute right now. I believe Snowflake is up 2-0 right now, so Clairvoyant really wants to win this one right here. LZ Gamer coming up from the bottom, going to start channeling it. And I don't know if there's much Clairvoyant can do to delay this. They're just going to back off. And
yeah, I don't think they can do anything with Rhaegar in the bottom lane and Witch Doctor in the top lane. Witch Doctor, even now getting threatened, the entire Snowflake team is collapsing on him, but he might be able to get behind the gate. Oh! The Arthas root and hook synergy was not there between Chillatek and Faye. And that is going to be a Witch Doctor who just scrapes out by the skin of his teeth.
Apparently I can't count. That was only the second tribute. For some reason I thought that was third.
Well,
I'm out of it today, guys.
I got you. It's the Witch Doctor. It's too much hype, guys. Meanwhile, a little skirmish in the mid lane. They do catch Hawkfu outside the gate with that root. Will it be enough damage? Oh my god, a huge burst coming in from LZ Gamer and Keelax finishes him off. He's going to be feeling that one in the morning. And we have ourselves a level 10 to level 9 advantage for Snowflake and a 5-kill advantage. Now they are heading towards the Grave Golem.
Smart decision. They can really take this uncontested because they do have that level 10, which means this Grave Golem will either do a lot of damage during the next tribute, or Clairvoyant is going to have to give it a tribute and defend against this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this puts oh my god, that spawn position is so good for Snowflake right next to where they're finishing the Grave Golem. This means that they're going to get the Grave Golem, and there's no way that Clairvoyant can really get there to fight for the tribute, I don't think, meaning they give up a curse this early. Now, that is a rough place to be, and they can't get anyone in position in time to interrupt this. It's going to put them way on the back foot.
Level 11 to level 10 right now. They're just going to straight up get the final tribute. And there is the curse. The Grave Golem is pushing bot lane right now. 2 members of Clairvoyant. It looks like all of Clairvoyant are going down there, which just allows Brightwing to push top and the other members to push mid lane right now. This is going to be brutal. Snowflake's going to get a lot of experience from this, a lot of map control. It's going to be hard for Clairvoyant to recover from this. I mean, that's just the state of this map. This is just such a punishing play right here by Snowflake.
Absolutely. To be that far ahead and have mercenary pressure when you get that tribute, that is just worst case scenario for the defending team. The defending team, what they really want is to fight hard for that last tribute, and maybe you have 2 or 3 people dead when the curse goes off. You just can't capitalize that well on it. But here we see Snowflake has 5 members up. when the curse goes down and a Grave Golem on the bottom, that's almost going to secure bottom fort on its own with the entire Clairvoyant team defending. And now Snowflake gets to send 5 people to this top lane and pressure this fort, which Clairvoyant probably can't defend until the curse comes off.
And we still got a few seconds until that happens. Both teams do have their heroics. Not level 13 just yet. Snowflake is going to have to either engage without it.
We see the engage. Hawkfoot goes in with the slam, but only gets 2. And here's a huge Rain of Vengeance, stunning 3 people inside the Witch Doctor ult, but it's not enough. They get to walk away. Odin is down. He does not go down. Meanwhile, Clairvoyant fighting Faye. Faye goes down. They have 2 people diving the backline. LZ Gamer and Idra not able to do consistent damage with those divers on them. Suki getting really aggressive here, trying to take out LZ Gamer. Meanwhile, Hawkfoot trying to mount up on the bottom side to get that flank onto Falstad Interior, but misses the Ancient Spear. Not going to be able to get in range. Ends up getting pinned down. Has to run back. And Arthas, meanwhile, on the front of that fight, taking down Suki and Barbarian getting chased down. That fight ends up being very bad for Clairvoyant.
It started off looking pretty good, though. Clairvoyant had a great initiation that, even though the Witch Doctor got almost immediately interrupted, but they did a lot of damage early on, and unfortunately it just seemed like they kind of were all on a different page after halfway through the fight. They all started chasing their own targets, they stopped focus firing, and Snowflake was able to capitalize on that.
Absolutely. The Barb Leap into the Rain of Vengeance looked really clean. They got a lot of damage onto Tychus and Falstad and forced them out of the fight almost immediately with those divers too. But then, while they were kind of killing Faye, Idra and LZ Gamer on that Falstad, Tychus kind of got to kite, have the Odin up, do a lot of damage, clear out that front line. And then when the flank from Barbarian didn't quite work out, it's just that team fight was in shambles. Arthas just surviving so long against this backline that just doesn't have that much sustained damage on the side of Clairvoyant.
LZ Gamer bribing the golems, or the siege giants. They are going to be pushing bot lane as the Grave Golem is pushing top. And this is just so much pressure from Snowflake. They're going to be able to pressure mid here, clean up the Knights, and Clairvoyant Gaming has to react. They have to go bottom and take out the siege giant. They have to go top and defend against this Grave Golem, and Snowflake can push whatever lane they want at this point.
Absolutely. And we do see pretty typical heroic choices here, like we saw in that fight. The Gorge, not over the Bile. Happy to see that. And we now have a level 15 to 13 advantage. This is really difficult for Clairvoyant to come back from, and another fort about to be taken out by LZ Gamer. Will he commit? Get it? Just one hit. There we go. It goes down. That puts them so close to level 16. And you can't really fight that 13 to 16 gap. So now it's Snowflake's game to lose. They just 5-man death ball wherever they want to go, and those levels and talents will definitely make it so easy for them to win.
Yeah, the talents are going to make it easy for the one team fight, but Cursed Hollow is kind of a map where it's hard to push without the objective. You can like do a Grave Golem death push, but even then, like the map's just so big that it gives teams time to react. So more than likely, they're going to play it safe. They're going to go for the tributes, get another curse, and try and end off that. It'll be really difficult for them to end without the tribute, at least right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them take the bottom keep when this Grave Golem respawns at the bottom side in about 45 seconds. Meanwhile, they're trying to flank Suki in that mid lane, but he's mounted up, and Chillatek reveals himself, and he's not going to be able to get the dismount on Suki, and the fishing hook goes wide. That is going to be a safe Witch Doctor again. Now Snowflake heading toward the top side, gonna capture that watchtower. I don't really like that. I'd rather see them set up for this Grave Golem in the bottom lane, but they want to clear out those siege giants in the top. And this is going to give Clairvoyant actually quite a bit of time to gather experience, maybe recompose themselves. But what are they going to do to get back in the game is the question.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like just Snowflake is taking it as safe as possible. Sure, they could have just sent Brightwing or Falstad to clean up the Giants, but they're making sure they do not give up this lead. No picks. They're not giving Clairvoyant the opportunity to come back in this game. They are just making sure.
I think this narrow choke could be a really good place for Clairvoyant to fight. If they can get the Barb Leap into a choke, there is a way that they could win a fight against this overpowered Snowflake, over-leveled team. Now, because of the mechanics of their composition where they have a lot of AD, Suki just walking up face into the stitches, and he is going to get gorged. The Ancestral keeps him up, but meanwhile the double divers onto the Falstad do take him down very fast. He gets the shotgun off, but it's not that important. Meanwhile, a huge hook on March from Faye, just fishing hook him all the way back into his team. And that is going to be a 4-for-1 in favor of Snowflake.
That was a wicked hook from Faye on March, and they are going to push mid lane right now. They currently are up 1 tribute to 0. They're about to get a second with Brightwing heading up there. Kielek's going to come get that and then teleport back middle. And I mean, this is This is brutal. If they can get this inner keep, which they have 6 seconds on Witchstalker, maybe Witchstalker if he immediately ults, but even then, it looks like it's going to fall before Witchstalker.
I'm pretty sure they've got this keep. I don't think they're going to be willing to back out before this ends. Oh, it's going to be close, though. It's going to be close, though. All the people up, are they willing to take it? And they do. They do come. Oh, they... Tell me they don't leave that at 1 health. Tell me. Oh, my God,
oh
Faye.
My gosh.
With the turnaround slam, sacrificing Stitch's life. Meanwhile, Chillatek walking out. Is he going to be able to get away? Yeah, it doesn't look like Barb's going to be able to close that gap.
Really solid reaction from Faye, realizing, yeah, I'm dead.
Oh my God, a huge Barb leap by Haku onto 3 people in the fog. Catches LZ Gamer and Keelex out of position. Keelex does manage to blink heal, and LZ Gamer with that barrel roll means nobody gets caught, but that was a huge Barbarian ult.
If only the rest of his team, like if maybe they had 5 extra seconds to group up, that would have been a great fight for them. But unfortunately, only Haku was ready for that, and great leap, but they did get away. They're gonna be able to secure the Siege Giant because of it, though. And for the first time, it kind of feels like Clairvoyant Gaming has some form of hold on the game. You know, it's not a tight hold though.
Oh my God, another Rain of Vengeance onto the Arthas, but he gets cleansed out of it, he gets to walk away. Meanwhile, the hard engage onto LZ Gamer in the backline. That Tyrael diving way deep, gets the Ancestral Healing so he doesn't go down. But the team from Clairvoyant just cannot follow up. Without that Witch Doctor ult, they don't have the damage to kill the targets they dive on.
Still a 5v4 as the Stitches has not rejoined the fight just yet. Odin and Shakanal were used, and another curse has been acquired by Team Snowflake. Descent getting focused right hard out right now. The Haku does get a leap onto him. LZ Gamer immediately evaporating here. Chillatek trying to peel off Idra. He does try and get away. They are fighting underneath a Grave Golem, though. That stun can be so impactful on this team fight. They are still backing up. Keep in mind, their turret is still shooting up because they are not the ones that are cursed, and it's going to be a difficult push here for Team Clairvoyant. A lot of their team is completely out of mana.
Yeah, so Snowflake taking the really conservative route and just backing off, giving up that fort. The Grave Golem does go down, so they're not under any more pressure from that, and that was really just really, really good team fighting by Clairvoyant to keep the pressure on into that Grave Golem really clean. Now, because of the curse, they end up losing a lot of those structures on that top side, and that mid lane where they had already lost the keep just gets shoved in all the way to their core. So they have to go back and deal with that, giving Snowflake all of the time in the world to take their own Grave Golem. And now Snowflake, with their own Grave Golem, probably just going to death push into this top lane and guarantee a keep, I would say, with that Grave Golem. There's almost no chance Clairvoyant can prevent that from happening.
Let's see here what the cooldown on the heroics are. So everything is up for Clairvoyant. They have the Ravenous Spirit. And in 10 seconds, Odin will be up, and that's the last cooldown for Snowflake. So both teams will have every heroic up for the fight. Looks like Snowflake is going to be securing their Knights right now. And they're just trying to control the map right now. That was not the most impactful curse.
Absolutely not. In fact, that was about the best curse that Clairvoyant could hope for, I would say. I mean, they lost, what, a wall on the top side? And that's it to the curse? So, really not very effective use of that map mechanic there. In fact, if I were Snowflake, probably wouldn't even have wanted to take that curse since they were not in a position to punish off of it. And they didn't group up and push with that Grave Golem, which seems like a mistake because it's just going to go down and not get the keep. And they haven't taken anything off of this with the time they had.
That's a good point. It's not something that you see a lot of teams thinking about right now. So let's just delay. Let's let them have a tribute potentially, just so we can have a better curse push. That's not something we really hear teams talking about or see them doing.
Absolutely
maybe the game could have actually been ended if Snowflake was just like, hey, let's give them this tribute and we'll get the next one and push with the curse.
Yeah, who knows? Now, Snowflake going to change modes from we're ahead and we want to try and force objectives. They're changing modes from that into the we're level 19 and don't want to throw, so we're going to wait as hard as we can to get level 20 before making things happen, because it's just so much easier to secure those wins if you fight while you have a level 20 breakpoint advantage against the enemy team. So there are so many teams who the moment they get a quarter of the way through 19, they're like, oh man, we're ahead and we're level 19. We shouldn't do anything until we get to level 20, because if you fight before level 20 and lose, that feels so bad.
I just always love the blind hooks because we both played Stitches. That feeling where the hook goes into a bush and you don't know someone's coming back is always the funnest moment of playing Stitches.
Yeah, they just throwing those out for show.
You never know. Sometimes the sickest place to be made.
Yeah, the blind hooks could be real, could be not real. No, Clairvoyant trying to force their way out of the base. They're gonna look to capture this watchtower or just run through it. They're not willing to spend the time. Oh, Haku does curve up. That is a little bit awkward. They're headed toward this tribute. Now, the entire Snowflake team, oh my god, the entire Snowflake team is running towards the bottom side of the map. This is an interesting decision. So they're going to try and take this keep while Clairvoyant is back in their base, and Clairvoyant doesn't even take the tribute off of that. Really awkward for them, forcing that recall. Brightwing staying near the tribute, actually zoning from that channel, and that's going to mean if they do engage in a fight, if someone were there, Snowflake could have forced a 5v4 with that Brightwing teleport. Very clever usage of their map mobility by Snowflake.
I really like that they sent Q-Lights up there just to delay, and even like worst case scenario for Snowflake, they all 5 go back, then they just get the tribute. I mean, that's just
that's exactly what happened.
Win-win situation for Snowflake.
Yeah, and they avoided having to fight at that level 19 to 19, which is the biggest fear of teams who are at level 19, you know?
Yeah.
It makes 100% sense. Beautiful, beautiful team strategy there. I don't know if that was 100% thought through or just the way it worked out, but that looked really clean.
Yeah, I agree completely.
I like it a lot.
Clairvoyant chasing down Chill Attack right now. Are they just going to go for a hard engage? It looks like Snowflake is just, again, playing it safe, trying to out-rotate the team. Again, they have that map mobility with the false stat Brightwing.
Another blind hook by Faye. Gets nothing. And Clairvoyant, forces down a fort. I like it. I like it. Forcing down a fort there is good. Yeah, absolutely. That 2,000 experience bonus is going to be really nice. Now, that does mean they are way out of position for the spawning of their Grave Golem, though, and that feels so bad. Now, this late in the game, these Grave Golems are incredibly powerful. You cannot fight into a Grave Golem, especially backed up by this whole Snowflake roster. They're going to cap this. Clairvoyant comes in. It does see them, but
all it takes is one bad stun from the Grave Golem.
Yeah.
And it's just an insta-wipe.
Or even a root. Even one root on your like AD carry, man, that thing chunks someone down to 2/3 health, and they're rooted for what seems like a million years. You ever get rooted by that guy, you're just stuck there like, please, let me move. The entire enemy team is coming.
We've seen it time and time again. You know, it's the Grave Golem has just so much, not just push potential, but allows you to fight easier underneath it.
Yeah.
No. Snowflake
being so cautious here. Has the level 20 breakpoint now, but not willing to commit to taking this keep. They're looking for a pick. They do get the hook on Rhaegar. Is it enough? He's polymorphed. He's got that mark taking a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Idra in the backside popping that Odin. They're trying to dive on Elsa Gamer, but don't have it. The Rain of Vengeance does not stun him long enough. Notorious DG on the front line does get taken down by the Snowflake lineup. Here's the Shotgun coming across 3 members, and the Witch Doctor is not in position to get a good ult. He gets taken down as well, and now Clairvoyant has been routed. They're on the run. Hawkfu taken down as well. That's a 4-for-0, and that is going to be the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a few things there. I think Rain of Vengeance, it has its utility. It has it, March.
Oh my god. A hook into the fountain by Faye to casually kill March before they end the game. Had to make sure that all 5 people of Clairvoyant were dead before they could end this. Oh man. Snowflake gave...
That ice block. That Manor ice block.
The Manor ice block is real. Like, hey guys, I didn't even have to use this cooldown in the fight. We just won 5-for-0. Na. So rude. So rude.
Now, that final fight, would you just... I mean, there were like, the Rain of Vengeance did nothing. LG Gamer reacted immediately, but would you say that was primarily the level 20 to 19 advantage, or was that just, Snowflake executing that team fight perfectly with a few mistakes on Clairvoyant?
Okay, it was really well executed that they let the Grave Golem get in front and then set up for the pick with the hook. What Clairvoyant needed to do was 100% avoid getting hooked there, because that's the biggest thing. Snowflake not really going to force a team fight without a hook landing, so to give the hook up is just so painful. And then one of the weaknesses of Clairvoyant's composition is someone gets hooked, right, and you have the Barbarian and the Tyrael who can definitely chase. They can follow the hooked target, maybe save him, get some damage on the enemy team or whatever. They can dive very deep. But the Witch Doctor and the Vala just don't dive into the enemy to deal damage that well. They would much rather have the enemy, coming towards them or like held off a safe distance from them. The kind of like brawlery fight in a tight area that you want to see, not the big wide open space where they get a hook and they're so far away. There's just no way Witch Doctor can get into that fight safely and deal damage when he has to walk next to an Arthas to do it.
That's one of the... I like the fact that people are trying to make Rain of Vengeance work again, but that's just one of the problems I have with it right now. Is you have to get so close, and Vala is someone you don't want to get close with. Yeah, she does have the vault, but even then.
Yeah, I mean, Vala, it looked like had to vault into that team fight to get in range for Rain of Vengeance, and that is just... Oh, that's so painful when you have to use your vault to gap close, and you end up just in this awkward situation where your vault is down, you're in the fight, you use Rain of Vengeance to try and help, and you just can't do it. So clean execution by Snowflake there. A little bit of a mistake, maybe in the draft, maybe in just the way they handled the game, by Clairvoyant, but Snowflake looked so good in that game, and I don't think you can give Snowflake the double global comp on any of the 3-lane maps.
Every time they
have shown. They have shown that they execute it incredibly well.
I want to actually go back through their games and confirm, because I think they might have a 100% win rate with that comp. It's just that it's so absurd giving them that. I just remember week 1. Yeah. Every single game they played week 1, it was just they got that and they won.
Yeah. So really clean play there by Snowflake. Clairvoyant now down 1 game in the series, so we are looking at game number 2 of match number 1 for the round of 4 ECS playoffs, guys. We're going to take it to a quick ad break. When we get back, game number 2 coming up. Stick around, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to the ESV Championship Series. I'm your host Dunk Train, here with my boy at IBD Zoya. Just coming off of a really clean game number 1 of the match between Clairvoyant and Snowflake that Snowflake took and made it look so very easy with those double globals.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was only one questionable point when we talked about how they got that chip, when they weren't ready for it, Chris when they were ready for it. But even then, that's not it's like a heavy misplay. Snowflake just looked close to perfect that game with their decision making. Yeah.
Very, very good there. Now, I guess we're gonna have to see if Clairvoyant can adapt in this draft, maybe find a way to deal with the Snowflake global menace, and just see if they can pull it out, take it to a game 3. They are behind 1 in this best of 3, so if they lose this one, they're out of contention, done with the playoffs. It's over. They're done, and they just have no hope of getting the finals. So we're going to see if they can take it to game 3, guys. Now, we are here with the ESV Championship Series, obviously. If you liked that game, if you like the ESV Championship Series, please support us by following on Twitter at ESVTV, YouTube.com/ESVTV Gaming, Facebook.com/ESVTV. like, follow, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, guys. Help support the growing Heroes competitive scene. Make sure that you give your love to them as we move into beta, hopefully soon. Cross your fingers. Technical Alpha's down right now. When it comes back, big things are happening, hopefully. That's really exciting. Make sure Blizzard knows there's a huge fan base for the game, wants to see it go competitive, because that's what I want to do. I know that's what Zoya wants to do too.
Absolutely. Get that competitive scene.
Yeah.
That esports money.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, guys, we are now going to move into draft number 2 for Snowflake versus Clairvoyant Gaming, and that is going to be with Clairvoyant getting that first ban, first pick. Snowflake here on that second ban, second pick life. Now, this is game number 2, and some really crazy stuff happens here. Now, we see Clairvoyant. They ban Tyrael, not entirely unusual. Snowflake actually banning Stitches, which is really unusual, given that Faye is one of the scariest Stitches in the alpha, I would say. So for them to ban Stitches is actually really, really unusual.
Why would you say the Tyrael ban is normal? Because I kind of find that a bit weird for a first ban in the current state of things.
In my experience playing lately, people just seem to value Tyrael really highly, and what's interesting about this game is that both teams actually banning a hero that they used in the game before. I mean, that's a little strange.
That is a little strange.
So, not sure what's going through their head here, but I like Clairvoyant where their head is at. First picking Falstad, if only to make sure that Snowflake cannot possibly have double globals. But I think they make a mistake and give up a lot of power there, where Snowflake gets to grab Tassadar Arthas on their first 2 picks, and that is a brutal pair of heroes to give your team. Clairvoyant salvages it a little bit with Rhaegar and Tychus, who I think are really powerful there. I think Tychus, really unusual to see him go that late in a draft. Typically he's banned or first picked. So they do get a good pick there, but God, this Snowflake team is so scary, rounding it off with the Uther and Vala, and then even with Tyrande, who I don't like very much. She has good vision, but I don't like her that much in these competitive games, but God, that Snowflake team is scary, and Clairvoyant is bringing up against that powerhouse Sergeant Hammer and ETC, who I am not sold on, Zoya.
Yeah, I've had multiple discussions with them about my lack of faith in ETC, and they like them. They put a lot of value into them. I mean, which is cool. They've always had their own thing. The Hammer is always... I mean, they always have a specialist. That's weird. That's just Clairvoyant, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing too great. I'm really curious to see how the Tyrande works out. Right now, we're only releasing Tyrande when it's paired with the Stitches. Gives you that vision for the hooks, but we don't have that situation here. So I'm really curious to see how the Tyrande plays in with the rest of the comp. I mean...
Yeah. Definitely going to be interesting there. I mean, I'm interested to see how Clairvoyant Gaming runs this ETC Sergeant Hammer composition. I'm not sold, but maybe it'll work out. I could see maybe in my wildest dreams it working out, guys. Let's see if Clairvoyant Gaming's magical Christmas land scenario comes true. They get those wicked sick ETC ults and Sergeant Hammer stays alive. Zoya, are you ready to get into this game?
I think I'm ready, man. I'm also at 13 seconds. I went ahead and caught up to you, man.
Well, that is fantastic. I am now also at 13 seconds, normal speed, timeline minimized. We are good to go here, guys. We have Snowflake on that left side on this blue team. We're going to be introducing them in 3, 2, 1, play. And we have Idra in the top lane on that Demon Hunter. Arthas in the mid lane. Chilla Tech rocking that brown horse. LZ Gamer in the mid lane now as well on Tassadar. Keelax on Uther. And Faye on that Tyrande. And Faye, just a masterful Tyrande. Now for the CT lineup. Yep.
We have Hawkfu on that Sergeant Hammer. March on Falstad. Suki on Tychus. Rhaegar played by Notorious Dig. And Descent going to be rounding out the ETC.
Absolutely.
So many horses on Snowflake.
So many horses. Now Faye, oh my god, walks up into that area. That is so scary, but she manages to stun in there, and they catch Descent out. They didn't even know he was there, but he is getting focus fire. That is not who you want to focus fire, though. That ETC going to just walk away.
Yeah, one of the things that I give ETC is he is so tanky in the early game, especially with his self-heal.
Yeah, definitely tanky in the early game. Feels like late game, he can be melted fairly easily. Now we do see a gank coming in that mid lane for Snowflake, but March going to barrel roll to dodge that Arthas Frost, and he is going to be A-okay. Now, Clairvoyant trying to do some cheeky stuff in this bottom lane. They have 3 people there. They kind of want to force something with the ETC Tychus, it looks like, but Faye just masterful scouting of those brushes and landing stuns on enemies inside them is going to mean nothing can happen there. And, ooh, I like this play by Clairvoyant. Actually shoving Tassadar out of that mid lane for a little while is going to deny them quite a bit of XP potentially. Faye, with a smooth rotation up, means that they don't miss any experience. And that is a good play and reaction by Clairvoyant and Snowflake.
Now, how do you feel about the Hammer versus Vala matchup? Who do you think that favors currently?
Honestly, I have no idea because I've never played it and I've never seen it played. If I had to throw it out there, if I had to throw it out there, I would guess Vala wins, but maybe Hammer can make the plays. I imagine if Vala checks into some mines, it could be bad. But we do see an engage on this bottom side shrine. Descent comes in with the slide and loudspeaker, with the slide and face melt, but Tassadar had already void shifted, so he didn't get stunned or knocked back, and that just means that there is no chance for that Tassadar to go down. And while Clairvoyant does have control of both shrines, I don't see them knocking Snowflake out of this mid lane anytime soon.
While I say that, caught off guard right now, would be shot. Oh, actually, just going to get away. You know? Don't want to run up there. You know that they have the potential of getting surrounded by Tassadar, Arthas, Vala, playing it safe.
Definitely. Now, Snowflake taking back both of those shrines. We have seen a lot of shrine back and forth in this game. Oh, I am scared for this Sergeant Hammer in the top lane. Chillatek coming in on Hawkfu. He has the speed up, but he doesn't manage to dodge the roots, and that means he's going to get rooted for a little while. Vala not able to put on a killing blow, but that is a lot of damage anyway. Now Faye and Keelex skirmishing with Descent and Suki on those heroes. We see a good Stormhammer coming up from March, but he gets stunned before he can put out enough damage. Now Storm is dropped on him while he's stunned, so he's low. He has to barrel roll out. Suki also right behind him gets Focus Fire down and taken out as he tries to get into his base, and he is not going to be able to survive. That is first blood.
Good and Venom from Chillatek to help secure that kill, and then even getting the Death Coil on himself just to make sure he didn't die. Was really close there. Just a well-secured gank there from Chillatek.
Absolutely. Now, Snowflake trying to take control of both of these shrines. So we see in the top lane, there's a skirmish going on between the tank and the Demon Hunter. Will the tank be able to do it? Nope. The Sergeant Hammer goes down 1v1 to the Demon Hunter, over-committing for that shrine control, I would say, leading to a death, and Snowflake got the shrine anyway. Oh, that's a rough place to be.
We have Chillatek pushing mid tower with that Dragon Knight right now. To see how hard Clairvoyant is willing to react to it. They are keeping both Tychus and Rhaegar in their lanes of soak experience, so it won't be a full reaction to this. We'll have to see how much Chillatek can do this. It's obviously going to get the front wall down, though. Do you think he'll be able to get this fort?
I don't think he's going to get the fort, just because we've seen lately in competitive play that the first Dragon Knight almost never gets the fort. The enemy team reacts in time. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take the moon well aggressively and then back out, switch to another lane, and get the wall. Because once you start taking that fort, you are just so deep. And we do see him rotating out towards this top side here, where Idra actually almost kills Suki, and Faye comes in with the stun, misses the stun, but the Owl is going to snipe out Tychus.
I like that. I really want to point out what Idra did there. He didn't go for the Tychus. He kept doing the damage to Hawkfu because he knew Faye was coming up and would be able to secure the kill.
A lot of faith in his team there.
Yeah, that's cool to see. That's cool to see that they're not only trust each other that much, but they're communicating that well. You know, He knew that Faye was coming up and relied on him.
So Bribe coming out on this bottom lane, safe Siege Giants for Clairvoyant. They're going to get those pushing. Will they be able to manage any meaningful push, though, with those? We'll have to see. They're trying to get down to those far bottom ones. Meanwhile, Snowflake very busy with their own Night Camp, so they're not going to be able to defend the bottom Siege Giants getting taken. Uther comes in here. He knows where the enemy team is from that Owl. He's just going to get poked, maybe harassed out a bit. Back up from that, they're going to secure those. Snowflake now has 5 people coming into this bottom lane. Oh, the Siege Giants do get taken, but can Clairvoyant disengage? They don't want to fight this 4v5. Sergeant Hammer all the way in that top lane, and they get 2 rooted by the Arthas, but it's Descent and Notorious DIG, and they manage to make it out with that Power Slide and Ghost Wolf form. Whew, that was a close one.
Great team synergy from Snowflake there. We did see that there was no overlap in any stuns. We saw the Keelax stun, followed by the Tyrannus stun, then followed by the Arthas root. There was no situation where they were like just all using it at once. You know, they were calling out, doing this, and then following up with that, and just really maximizing all of their abilities as a team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's just no way Clairvoyant can fight that 4v5. They just don't have the damage to deal with that. Uther Tyrande healing, and Hawkfu in this top lane, soaking XP like a champ, but will it be enough? We see Snowflake already with a 3-kill lead. A bunch of damage on the mid lane. Arthas Root comes out in that skirmish, but it's not going to hit on anyone. And Clairvoyant kind of just forces Snowflake back. Now, the mercenary control on this map. We see Siege Knights in the bottom lane for Snowflake. Meanwhile, Knights on the top side for Clairvoyant. I think Hogfu, if he tries to push with these, though, he's going to get into a scary place. He doesn't know where Arthas is on the map right now until he shows himself in the mid lane. And Tyrande also missing. So, a little bit scary for him to be soloing at that shrine. Meanwhile, Clairvoyant has 4 people at the bottom side.
Yeah, and they're going to control both of the shrines right now, but no one in the mid to claim it. Snowflake probably not too worried about that right now, as they do have Fate and Kita X in that bottom lane, Arthas in mid, Castor at top. And
oh, I like the Shadow Stock here from Faye. As soon as they see Clairvoyant leave that bottom lane, go into hiding, they drop the Shadow Stock immediately, so they know it's safe to take both the top and bottom shrine back immediately, and that means that there's no way that Clairvoyant can force this Dragon Knight out. They try to get a catch onto LZ Gamer, but that Tassadar just void shifts, kind of walks away. Now Suki has popped the Odin. Are they going to be able to force a fight here? They don't have all 5 in position. Clairvoyant, now the Odin a little bit overextended.
A lot of heroics have been used so far. They're going to keep chasing. There is the Bloodlust Descent. Lands Mosh Pit, but only hits Chill Attack with it. Huge strafe coming out from Idra, doing a lot of damage. Does get interrupted. March not really doing much with his shock. And Hawkfu trying to go for the chase right now. Keep in mind that Battle Tank is kind of the thing right now with Hover Siege being moved, I believe, to level 13. Combining
16.
it with 16, combining it with the range. So we don't really see Hover Siege anymore. It's just the Battle Tank from the old days.
Yeah, so a team fight that was a little awkward there by Clairvoyant. The Odin was put down, and that signals, hey, I want to fight. And he had 4 members of his team in that mid lane, not all 5, and that really cost them there as Snowflake re-engaged and just took down that ETC, who normally super tanky. You feel like you're safe with him on the front line, but when you're at a man disadvantage, your tank is just not going to stay up against that team composition.
Agreed.
Trying to get a pick on Arthas here, but he is not the one you want to focus. Descent gets himself out of position while he goes for that kill and gets turned on yet again. Another death for the ETC, having a rough game here.
Again, another just well-rotated round of stuns and movement abilities, making sure that ETC does not get away, securing another kill. 5 kills to 0. Surprisingly, though, levels are dead even.
Yeah, levels are relatively even, a testament to the soaking that has been done. Clairvoyant not getting denied XP. Meanwhile, a huge fight going down at these Siege Giants. Keylex comes in for a huge 3-man Divine Storm on Uther. Meanwhile, his team focus fires down the Rhaegar, who's out of position, and allows them to take a kill, end those Siege Giants.
Man,
and the Dragon
so
Knight.
Close to dead there. That was just...
He calculated.
Calculated, man. And then they have the Healing Ward, so good now. I mean, it was good before, but now it's even better. We do have Chill Tech pushing again with the Dragon Knight. As you said before, usually the first DK doesn't get a tower, but it would be really hard for Clairvoyant to hold this.
Yeah, one thing I will say about the Sergeant Hammer does well, though, is hold these objectives, at least later in the game, but for now, you just see that damage is not high enough on that Dragon Knight. It looks like Snowflake going to be able to force this. Dragon Knight positioning really aggressively, trying to posture, prevent that Clairvoyant team from getting to his team. Now it looks like he's a little out of position, but that fort is going to go down, and this is Snowflake's decision. Are they going to take this team fight? When that dragon splits, going to explode, knock everyone away, and stun them, and it looks like Clairvoyant realizes that, spreads out, gets back behind the Dragon Knight so they don't get engaged on.
Well done by Chill Tech, making sure he got out of there. Another fort secured, or first fort of the game secured for Snowflake. They are going to head bottom, try and put some pressure onto March. He doesn't end up getting away from the root, and you got that time period where not very many mercs are up. You have the 2 giant camps and the night camps, but you have a few minutes until you can get another Dragon Knight. What is the team's goal here when they don't have very many objectives to take?
Man, this is a rough spot to be in for the Clairvoyant lineup, and they are 1 level behind, so they could fight if they can get a good engage, but they're getting really aggressive here in this bottom lane. Without Knights, it's going to be hard for them to force anything. Descent getting stuck, taking a lot of damage here. The go buttons are pressed. We see the Bloodlust and the Arthas ult. Now the ETC Mosh Pit gets interrupted, but a pretty big shock and out comes across 3 members by March onto that Snowflake team. Now Snowflake is forced to disengage here. Notorious DIG on the front line, fearless, even though he's low health. Snowflake re-engaging with those huge strafe, and Arthas in the front line. A huge owl comes across, sniping out Rhaegar on that super low health, and now the Archon chasing the Sergeant Hammer out of the fight. Faye chasing Tychus out, and that is going to be a disengage. Oh, the snipe coming in leaves Suki at 50 health, and that's going to signal the end of the fight. A 2-for-1 in favor of Snowflake.
Yeah, we still have more fighting going on. Haku does get some, but they can't re-engage. March just having recently hit that well. Too much life and mana for them to be able to contest. Everyone is just way too low. Snowflake gonna have to back off. Idra might be the only one able to sit here and defend, but he's going to go heal up as well. And this leaves March to potentially steal the Giants. Does he have enough for both bribes? He does not. He's only got enough for one bribe, so not going to be able to go and hit that.
Yeah, there's just no way he goes in there. It is way too scary. They did not get enough kills onto that Snowflake team. Now, I like Clairvoyant immediately going and doing their Knights. It just prevents any weird shenanigans from that Snowflake roster heading to their Knights now. We just see the difficulty of getting ETC in position for those big ults. He keeps trying to go for it. Looks like he's overextended and ends up dying now. They're trying to get a fight here. Fighting in this location could be really good for them if they can manage to protect the siege tank and get a mosh pit to block off that choke. They're going in for the night camp. Is it going to be too greedy? ETC on the front line yet again. Vala flanking, gets a lot of damage on Tychus, and now Clairvoyant is on full retreat mode, but Keelek sprinting up. Is he going to be able to get the stun? He does not, and a pretty big shotgun comes across those two frontliners, scaring them off, and that is going to be no contest in the top side.
Really great knockback there from Descent. He pushed everyone out of the area inside the Knights, able to easily get the Knights for his team, and then just get a retreat. That fight was almost entirely set up by Descent. Really well done by him.
Yeah. So we see Clairvoyant. They try to make a play for that Dragon Knight, but they just can't get it. March flies down to the bottom lane. Snowflake knows that someone had to go to that bottom lane. That means that they can send their crew to the top side, disable that shrine. Now Faye trying to 1v1 the Tychus. This isn't really going to work out for her, but with the Vala coming up, that means they're going to be able to secure the shrine, and Snowflake has control of the middle, so that short time window not going to be enough to get Clairvoyant the Dragon Knight.
115 to 15 up. We do see actually 16 just now hit for Team Snowflake. A big advantage right now. Will they be able to capitalize on it? Hawkfu is in siege mode. They have to be very careful right now. All of Snowflake is here, ready to engage. Here comes Chiltech from the top. Does land the root. The Healing Ward is down for Clairvoyant Gaming. Chiltech trying to break it. There's the Bloodlust doing a lot of damage to Chiltech. He has to back out there. Huge Divine Storm stunning everybody. We see ETC immediately fall. Odin doing a lot of damage right now. Does take out that Uther. Will he be able to get more, though? Idra coming up from the top, trying to do as much damage as Suki. Break that Odin early on if he can. Hawkfu is in siege mode. Archon is popped. They're going ham on him. Huge stun from Tyrande. All three of them are pretty low in HP. Twistic is trying to kite away. There's the Healing Ward for Snowflake. Tyrande stun does miss. Hawkfu is kiting back. Another storm going down for Passadar, and they do secure the kill on Rhaegar. Hawkfu and Suki do get stunned by the Tyrande stun, but Idra is not there to be able to capitalize and try and get a kill. A 2-for-1. Only Uther dying. That's not really shocking to see.
Oh my god, that owl.
Oh wow, they are both.
Hits two people, drops him to 100 health. Wow. Faye's owls were spot on that fight. Another one tossed out, but it's not going to hit anyone. Oh man.
That was a sick fight. That was.
There were so many clutch owls shot that fight. Now March trying to come and interrupt this Dragon Knight, but he just gets focus fired down instantly by Idra. With that Hungering Arrow multi-shot combination, even pops the strafe for good measure, and that is going to be a pick. Now Snowflake has a power play and the Dragon Knight, and looks like they're headed towards this bottom side, just going to get this fort that doesn't have any wall. I expect to see Chiltech kind of wait for his team here, though, because he does not have any backup in the vicinity.
Now, almost every heroic is going to be up within 20 seconds for Snowflake. We still got a little over 30 seconds for Clairvoyant, so they have to be really patient with this. Chiltech is going straight for that fort. Tyrande does land a stun, but he is pretty low in HP. He did not wait for his team, so might not be the most effective Dragon Knight. Healing Ward does go down. His all of Clairvoyant is sitting inside of it. They're still waiting on March, though. It's going to be really hard to fight 4v5. Don't know if they can really keep holding this. We have all of Snowflake pounding on this. March does fly in from the bottom now, but the fort will end up falling.
Yeah. So despite a really aggressive Dragon Knight play that cost him a lot of his health, we see that Healing Ward filling him back up to about 2/3, allowing them to secure the fort. Now the Dragon Knight getting low on time, going to do a little damage to this front wall, but I don't expect to see Snowflake forcing any keeps with this Dragon Knight anytime soon. What I'd like to see is them to get in position to take some good mercenary control immediately after this Dragon Knight ends.
Immediately backing off, level 18 to level 16 in favor of Snowflake. Kills 11-2. Both of the deaths have been on Uther, and Uthers usually end up dying. They have to get right in there. They have to get that huge Divine Storm off. They take a lot of damage in the process. So not big shocker. But Chiltech actually going ham onto all of Clairvoyant Gaming. They do get knocked back by Descent. He tries to go forward, wants to land a big mosh pit. Will he be able to do that? He hasn't started channeling yet. There's the Bloodlust. A lot of damage going out. Suki does in the Odin. There is the mosh pit. Does get stunned by Tyrande. Notorious Stick so low in HP. Shocking out hitting 3 people there, but wasn't enough to completely wipe wipe it, and still everyone from Snowflake is like, Chiltech might die from the mines, though. It's so low, and Tassar ended up falling to those mines from Sergeant Hammer. Chiltech almost as well. It's only a 1-for-2. Hawkfu trying to back off March, so low in HP. Will there be another great out from Faye? He's going for it. He lands a stun onto March and gets another kill. Faye, man, so good with these skill shots.
That Tyrande has had so much impact in this game. And we saw that situation looked so perfect for Clairvoyant. The ETC was up at a choke point, zoning the entire Snowflake backline. They could not get into that team fight. But even when the Tassadar moves too far forward, gets out of position, gets hit by the mosh pit, Arthas in the mosh pit as well, the ETC zoning, just tanking that backline, it is not enough because Clairvoyant does not have enough damage to cut through the Arthas, who just tanked the whole team for that whole fight. I mean, Arthas looked so out of position there. It looked like he was split decision. His team was not with him in the fight at all. He engages that fight into the brush like he does not have a care in the world, and he lives through it because of that huge healing from ghouls, and that is just so devastating for Clairvoyant, who felt like they had the engage of their dreams.
I mean, we're seeing from Chiltech, a more tanky version of Arthas. He did go for the Envenom and the Frozen Waste, which are pretty standard, but he also went for Rune Tap and the Stone Skin. So for the late game, he is going super duper tanking, where you see a good portion of Arthas is just going pure damage, making sure they upgrade the Frozen Tempest and get as much damage as possible. But Chiltech making sure he's tanky as possible. And we saw it in that fight, like you just pointed out. He just didn't die.
Absolutely. That Relentless makes it so hard to lock down targets, and Chiltech frontlining so well for his team. The ETC just cannot hope to live as long as the Arthas with those ghouls, and that is going to be a free fort for Team Snowflake when they make that clean rotation towards the top side. Clairvoyant going to go up there now, try and take back the top shrine. Snowflake goes down to the bottom shrine, and here is the late game Dragonshire dance. We see this so often. Teams get to the late game, neither team has a decisive victory in hand yet, so we see a lot of dancing back and forth between the shrines, trying to secure this Dragon Knight, trying to split their opponent's attention. Snowflake doing a good job here of pushing onto this mid lane, gets a tower for free, no engage possible from Clairvoyant, and that is just some free base damage.
Yeah, it's just a really rough map to try and find the perfect ending for. Unless there's Mercs pushing a lane, it's like you just said, it's the Dragonshire dance. Both teams are roaming around, taking each camp. But it looks like with will Snowflake actually be able to get this dragon? We do see Clairvoyant is down here right now, and they should not be able to do it. Yeah, they will be.
No, the timing window just not quite there for Snowflake, and they actually do a really good job of putting pressure on the mid lane again, taking down the other tower and the gate now, but is Keelax caught out of position. Chiltech on the front line, going to be zoning for his friend, turns on the Frozen Tempest, starts to take that damage from Tychus. Meanwhile, Dark Archon on that top side, LZ Gamer getting so much damage on this Clairvoyant lineup, almost kills Descent, but he gets out. Odin popped in the middle of the team, that is not a good place. He goes down, the stun misses, but because of his run gun dash out, he is not going to be able to save his poor teammate Sergeant Hammer, who doesn't have the same escape tools as him though. And that is going to be a 1-for-0 in favor of Snowflake. Like you said, Zoya, with that level 20 advantage, pulling the trigger. Dark Archon on the flank, doing so much damage, melting through the front line of Clairvoyant, and taking a keep.
It's pretty insane how much damage LZ did to Descent in that few seconds. And then the Uther follow-up, when you have that increased Divine Storm range, just does so much damage. And they were able to get a quick kill on Hammer. Kills are currently 15-3 in favor of Snowflake. And then we do have Chiltech taking that Dragon. Idra did go down bottom with the Shrine. And with the Dragon Knight here, and it being a 5v4 for 15 seconds, this is going to be tough hold. There's no keep here. They're going to go straight for the Palace.
Yeah, absolutely. So Descent getting taken down to about half health with that Tyrande mark takes so much bonus damage. They've got the Dragon Knight into the core and tanking it. Are they going to all in? It looks like they're committed. Now the Sergeant Hammer has come up. This is a team fight. If Clairvoyant wants it, they're going to have to defend the core. Dragon Knight staying on the core the entire time. Meanwhile, a huge Uther stun comes off. 5 people on Clairvoyant stunned by the Uther. Meanwhile, the Strafe Owl comes out, does not manage to kill Tychus. He just barely gets away. ETC Mosh Pit on only when targets get interrupted so fast by Faye on that Tyrande. Meanwhile, that Dragon Knight just destroys the core on his own. LZ Gamer putting a helping hand in there. And that's another clean victory for Snowflake. The quick 2-0.
Yeah, it's it's something we see on both this map and the plant map, where late game the plant terror or the Dragon Knight, they just have so much damage they can just focus fire the Palace, and if your team's there to just distract, there's nothing they can do to stop it. Just Really, really powerful play from Snowflake in both games, and we have our first finalist.
Yeah, I mean, Snowflake showed that they absolutely deserved that #1 seed in Division 1 with a very, very convincing 2-0 over Clairvoyant. I mean, we saw amazing teamwork, map rotation skill from them. Those Snowflake games looked like they could have been SMG games if you swap the names around. I'm just throwing it out there. Very impressive.
And I'm not going to doubt a Tyrande pick anymore. Like, Face Tyrande was so impressive. That was so good.
Yeah. Normally, Tyrandas have a hard time influencing the game until level 13 and 16 when they get those talents to improve the range and AoE and impact of their owl and stun. But my god, when those level 16 owls started chunking people, getting multiple kills across map, just forcing people out of fights, that poke is absurd.
Space Shark hype?
Space Shark hype, okay. Well then, guys, we are going to be taking this to an interview with Idra from Team Snowflake, guys. Let's get us just a second to get this set up. Oh boy. Alright. Looks like we've got Zoya just about right, but we're going to add Idra to this call, guys. Idra from Team Snowflake. This is going to be quite exciting, man. That was a very impressive game. Really exciting games there.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh my god, it almost looks right. Thank you for joining us, Idra, on the ECS after your 2-0 victory in the round of 4 against Clairvoyant. Good job with that.
Thank you.
Zoya, would you like to lead with a question?
Yeah, over the last few weeks, I mean, just compare, like, you've gone through a lot of roster changes, obviously, but as a team overall, just since week 1, you guys seem to have really tightened down not only like your picks, your drafting, but your in-game strategy. You guys seem to be moving fluid as a team, and just really reacting well. Like there wasn't in both games. There was never a situation where it was like, what is Snowflake doing? What is the main reason for this? Is it just you finally have the perfect roster, or is there just something you've been doing in your scrims and practice that have helped this out a lot?
Yeah, the roster change was actually a big part of it. We rotated through a couple things, and Chilotek is the most recent addition, like maybe a week and a half ago. And it seems like that'd be a pretty big problem. You know, only have a week and a half to practice. You think that'd make us less coordinated. But we were actually lacking a really kind of like loud vocal person during the game because most of us come from a StarCraft background. So it's, you know, very internal. It's very hard for us to talk while we play. But he's very comfortable being like the leading shot caller and whatnot. So we put him on the frontliners, and most of the time it's just him telling us what to do, or at least him making the decision, or at least just him talking, and then we just kind of follow him around and do what he says and execute. And so that has made everything much, much cleaner for us already, like even lacking experience.
Yeah, definitely. The team looked so crisp in those games, and we saw the double global used to such great use in that first game. Do you think double global is a strength of your team? Do you think other teams have just not caught on to how powerful it is overall? Was that even intentional?
I mean, that's always something you think of. That's just like an added. They're both really strong heroes, and you're fine having them in a vacuum. But then, if you already have a Falstead, then you're trying to pick between a Brightwing and an Uther, and there's no particular need for either. And you're like, well, we got the Falstead, we have double Pride, we have double mobility. That's enough of a perk to drive us over the edge. But it's not something we focus on at all, and not something we think about too much. It's like second or third, you know, layer of thought when we're considering hero selection and drafting and whatnot.
Definitely. So just pick those heroes for their own power, and then the mobility is just basically a nice perk. Yeah. Very interesting strategy there. Man, so you guys have won your round of 4 match. Going to have to play against SMG the Titans. I know you already played those games, so no spoilerino from you, buddy, but
you just spoiled everything for the stream, Dunk. We haven't seen those matches yet.
Let's be real. Let's be real. I haven't seen the matches. I'm just going to throw it out there that, I mean, Division 2 was... I know I haven't seen the matches. I'm just going to say that Division 2, I mean, I would be so surprised if SMG won. And I think you guys would agree, right?
I think
if SMG
would be
did.
Surprised, yeah.
Yeah, I mean... props to Wildfire on putting together a team and cleaning house in Division 1 and like taking over Glorious. Nobody saw that coming, but I just don't think they have what it takes to take SMG. I want to root for the underdogs. Kaboom won some games, but I just don't know if Wildfire can take a best of 3 against SMG.
It does seem unlikely.
I mean, we had them play each other in Kings of Nexus, but to follow off of what Dunk was asking, how confident would you guys be against either Wildfire or SMG, depending on who wins.
Good job. Good job for that. Correcting me.
Well, against Wildfire, I think we win pretty much for sure. They have a very specific style, and they were doing really well with it for like a little period of time. But I think we've kind of figured out. I think a lot of teams actually. I think Glorious beat them as well, and I have a feeling SMG will beat them. I think it's been kind of figured out how to draft against them, and they're trying to switch their style up a bit, and it's definitely made them much less threatening. So against them, I think we would win pretty much for sure. Against SMG, they're definitely the favorites there. Actually, what we were talking about in the previous question, just like the fluidity and the decisiveness that they play with, that's the thing that they excel at the most, that they definitely have on us. And even though we've gotten better at it, it's still a big weakness of ours. So, I don't know. We're the underdogs, but we're definitely capable of beating them. And I think given some time, we'll at least be on par with them. But we are still a pretty new, like, we moved Keelax to support. We have an entirely new player. We're still pretty new together as a lineup, so we need some more time before we're going to be as good as we can be.
Definitely.
How good's Tyrande?
Really, really good in the hands of Faye. She's like by far the best.
The qualifier.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy playing her, but just I've never seen anyone else be nearly as effective with her.
Definitely. I could say that, no question. Even in that first game, the Stitches, just Faye landing incredible hooks to initiate those team fights for
she
you
was
guys.
mad. She only got to land like one impressive hook because we were so scared of fighting them just because if you get one good barb leap into Witch Doctor ult on Curse, it can just wipe you. So we were just kind of running around like sitting on our advantage, and she didn't really get to do anything with the Stitches.
Well, I mean, it looked impressive to us.
She got the one really good one that kind of won the game, so hopefully that's enough.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, thank you for joining us, Idra. You have any shout-outs you'd like to make here before we let you go?
Not really just yet. Team Snowflake. I guess like my Twitter and stuff. At Idra, we don't have a team Twitter yet or any team social media, so it's Team Snowflake.
Awesome.
Jake's kitten.
Well, guys.
Jake's kitten.
Yeah. Setting it up. That's really awesome. Thank you for joining us, Idra. Fantastic games from you guys. I'm so looking forward to seeing you guys play in the playoffs against either Wildfire or SMG. Who knows? Idra definitely doesn't know, guys. I actually don't know. You guys don't know yet. We have to watch some games to find out. Before we can get to that, we're going to do an ad break, guys. Thanks for watching the ECS.